The ability of the Salvation Army to achieve miracles for our most vulnerable neighbors requires our capacity to love beyond. And one of the families that has demonstrated this profound love for our fellow human beings is the Langlie family. Hi, I'm Phyllis Campbell, Chairman of the Pacific Northwest at J.P. Morgan Chase, longtime supporter of the Salvation Army, and a friend of Art Langlie and his family. It's been such a privilege to see the profound impact that the Langley's philanthropic history has brought to the Salvation Army. Truly, the Salvation Army and supporters like the Langleys are changing the landscape of homelessness in King County, and as the need dramatically increases every day, their contributions mean more and more lives are saved on a daily basis. The Langleys set the standard and the example for all of us who truly want to make a difference. Congratulations to Art and his family for 100 years of support for the Salvation Army.
Hi friends, this year marks the 100th anniversary of there being a Langlie family member involved in the Salvation Army. Today we're going to talk about some of those memories with my mother, who's here today, and my sister Emily, who's also been involved with the Salvation Army over those years.
Well, Mom?
When Arthur B. Langlie first moved to Seattle as a young lawyer, he was in a group of other young people, and one of their projects was to do things that were needed in the community, and that's when he was first introduced to the Salvation Army.
So this was in the 20s?
1929, 1930. He went on from being a city councilman to mayor and then to governor. All along the way, he had made close friends with the Army and really admired their programs and what they did for people. What your father kept saying, too, about...
Salvation Army could make a nickel scream.
Right.
And so it was important to give to the Army because you knew that your donation would go to the child that couldn't otherwise go to camp, or the domestic violence survivor that needed a safe place to stay, or someone who was just down on their luck and needed a warm meal and a chance to start their life over again.
So I think in a lot of ways, we've all grown up in the Salvation Army. Some of my earliest memories of Christmas were spending time with my dad and bell ringing. Dad and I spent a lot of nights at the old Nordstrom doing that, and the thing about Seattle in those days was you knew most of the people that came by to drop money in the Kettle.
And the Toy and Joy Shop was such a big part of Christmas.
One year when I was working there up on Capitol Hill in an old wood frame building that smelled of diesel, somebody had broken in overnight and stolen the bikes that were going to go home with kids the next day. And so I headed home to get 2 bikes that I had that I could donate back to the cause so that they would go home to families in Seattle. I had so many parents coming through there trying to find just the right thing. And it was a labor of love to try and pick out just exactly what I thought a 7-year-old boy would want. Yeah, I think when people ask me the most important things, Emily had referenced before, that making a nickel scream is something that I always say about the Salvation Army, because fiscally more money gets to the people that need it than any other organization that I've ever found. And particularly in our issues in Seattle these days, I know the metrics of how the Army spends that money and the lives that they are able to change. The other thing that I really appreciate about the Salvation Army is they are helping everyone without discrimination. I often say that if the devil himself came to the door, the Salvation Army would be there to help him if he asked for it. And I think that there are few organizations that have that kind of approach to the world.
When my father passed away, the Salvation Army created the Arthur S. Langlie Award for Visionary Leadership. And this year, with that award, we're doing something very special.
Yeah, this year I've decided that we're going to raise $100,000 to go toward the street level program, which is working with our unhoused community in finding ways to retrajectory their lives into a better place. This year's also special because I'm pleased to announce this year's recipient of the Arthur S. Langlie Award for Visionary Leadership. This year, it's my privilege to give the Arthur S. Langlie Award for Visionary Leadership to June and George Bartell. My grandfather and George's grandfather likely worked together in the Salvation Army in those early days. George, June, congratulations.
Thank you, Art. June and I are humbled and honored to receive the Arthur S. Langlie Award. I have served on the local Salvation Army board with both Art and his dad, and that's just one indication of the depth of support that the Langlie family has given to the Salvation Army for now 100 years. It is a privilege that the Bartell name will be linked with the Langlie name in continuing to support the mission of the Salvation Army, feeding the hungry, helping those who need shelter find it, assisting victims of domestic abuse, and helping those who are suffering from the scourge of addiction. So on behalf of the Bartell family, thank you.